All right, today we are diving deep into a world where social media fame and organized crime collide. It's a place where having a big online following can have deadly, and I mean deadly, real world consequences.
So it all starts with this one chilling sentence. It's the confirmation a hacker, hired by one of Mexico's most powerful cartels, needed to hear. A simple click on a link, and the trap was sprung.
And the target? A guy named Camilo Ochoa, a social media influencer who is very publicly aligned with a faction of the Sinaloa cartel. That one click, which came from his wife's phone, gave away his exact location, totally breaching the security of their private compound. What happened next was just a brutal, calculated hit. I mean, look at the details here. They breach a secure compound, find him hiding in the bathroom, and fire 8 shots. But the part that's really chilling, they posed his body, putting his glasses on for a photo to send their boss as proof. This wasn't random. It was a message. And it really begs the question, why are influencers like him becoming such high-value targets? Well, to get that, you have to understand the narco-influencer playbook. Now, this isn't some brand new thing. It's really just the latest evolution of cartel propaganda, adapted for the digital age. It's a game, but a game with fatal rules. So what even is a narco-influencer? They're basically a strategic tool. It's not just about bragging online. They create this carefully curated persona that acts as a powerful form of narco-marketing, I guess you'd call it. It's all designed to make a criminal enterprise look like some kind of aspirational lifestyle brand. And this has been evolving for decades. It started with music, with songs that turned narcos into these mythical folk heroes. Then in the 2000s, you had YouTube, which was used for pure psychological terror, posting these gruesome videos. But today, with things like TikTok, it's all about normalization. And that's the key takeaway here, the shift from these distant legends to making cartel life seem like this accessible, everyday reality. And the crazy thing is, they do it right out in the open. They use this kind of coded emoji language to get around content moderators, while, branding themselves to an audience that's in on the secret. So a pizza emoji isn't just a pizza anymore, it's a sign of loyalty to El Chapo's sons. And all this coded language, it feeds into this incredibly powerful recruitment funnel. First, they glamorize the life, exotic pets, fancy cars, piles of cash. Then they normalize their role, trying to look like they're protecting the community. And finally, they recruit, sliding into DMs and even using online gaming chats to pull young people in. And the results are just devastating. We're talking about an estimated 30,000 teenagers recruited into these groups, all drawn in by this digital fantasy that hides a truly brutal reality. So if this system is working so well for them, why the recent spike in violence against these same influencers? Okay, so what changed? Well, the answer is a bitter internal war that has turned these valuable digital assets into huge liabilities almost overnight. And that sparked this new, brutal wave of targeted killings. Right now, the powerful Sinaloa cartel has basically fractured. On one side, you have La Chapiza, El Chapo's sons. They're flashy, they're social media savvy, and they treat the cartel like a brand that needs marketing. On the other side, you have La Mayiza, the old guard, super secretive faction run by El Mayo Zambada. He believes in operating from the shadows. So this isn't just a power struggle, it's a total clash of philosophies, and it has turned incredibly violent. So in this war, an influencer who publicly sides with La Chapiza, like Camilo Ochoa did, is no longer just a brand ambassador. They become a walking symbol of the enemy. Suddenly, their online fame becomes a death sentence. It makes them easy, high-profile targets. Killing an influencer sends a very public message. It's a direct hit to the rival faction's prestige. We know of at least 8 influencers who have been murdered in this conflict alone, which shows this is a clear, escalating campaign. But you have to ask, how do they get away with this? This level of violence doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It's enabled, it's protected by a deep, deep network of corruption that reaches all the way to the highest levels of the Mexican government. I mean, just consider this guy, Genaro Garcia Luna. His job was to be Mexico's top security chief, the head of the entire federal police, and he was arrested for working directly with the Sinaloa cartel. And it's not just a one-off. Or you can look at a state governor, Silviano Aurelius, who was allegedly tied to the Knights Templar cartel, basically letting them operate freely within his state. It even gets into the justice system itself, the president of a state's Supreme Court linked to the Gulf cartel. I mean, think about that. She has the power to just released cartel members from prison. The problem is absolutely systemic. And the really stark reality, as one person just bluntly put it, is that this corruption runs through the entire political spectrum. It's created what a lot of people now call a narco-state, where the lines between the government and organized crime are just hopelessly blurred.
So this brings us to our final, and honestly most chilling takeaway. What happens when violence is totally normalized online, and the very system that's supposed to protect you is completely corrupted from the inside out?
Well, you get a state of almost total impunity, with a 1% conviction rate for murder. Think about that, 1%. It means killing a rival, a journalist, or an influencer is a crime with basically no consequences. It's a license to kill. And all of this really forces us to ask a tough question about the content we see and engage with online. Because for these narco-influencers, the chase for likes and shares and online status, it's not just a game. It's a currency that in the end is paid in blood.